Dr. Angela McBurdy of DoctorFlute.com, and today's flute tip is on embouchure flexibility within your solo. I think that when we're playing a solo and we're in the thick of it, oftentimes the idea of moving your embouchure and changing it as you play goes out the window. Sometimes the pressure of that solo is just going to take over, and what you have thought you're going to be doing to get out your notes as you play just is gone, and they come out however they do. I think that if you really practice this idea of having a flexible embouchure, one that can move and change as you play, then in the middle of a concert or a recital or an audition, your embouchure is going to respond to the way it was trained. Many times the students that I see, and I had this exact same problem, and I remember asking somebody, why is it that I play a solo in a recital or something and I lose my low register? And it's all because my embouchure stayed high. It did not change to reflect the different octaves that I was playing in. I'm going to play a little part of this solo here in front of me, and I'm going to think about this embouchure and how is it going to change as I go from a high third octave note all the way down to a first octave note. I'm not going to play it in tempo because I want to train my embouchure to do what it needs to do, but also train my ear to hear the sound that I'm looking for. Because I think training the ear to hear, your ear makes your embouchure do the right thing, because we all want to sound good, and the way you listen to yourself, you want to hear yourself sounding good. I'm going to start up on third octave E. Now that's not a big jump. Third octave E to a G is not big, so I'm not going to move my embouchure very much. After that I go up to a high F, higher than the third octave F. Now you heard the squeak on the E as I'm coming down, and I'm going to go all the way down to a D in this run. That squeak happened because my embouchure stayed up. It did not start changing as I came down the octaves from the high E. Now I'm an octave lower from that E where I started from, and my embouchure was still up here above a C. It didn't change. So I'm going to try that again, starting with the high F. Now I went by it quite easily this time because I'm changing my embouchure. I'm making it flexible. Now I'm in my lower octave, a G. There's my D. And I'm going to move right back up. Now, this is just one solo, but in every solo, we're always going from the top to the bottom, to the top to the bottom, because let's face it, a solo wouldn't be very interesting if we all stayed on the same, same octave, or just used the middle octave to the upper octave. Using the whole gamut of the notes that a composer has available makes our solos interesting, but it also gives us a challenge. But that's fun too. I like a challenge. So I have to go all the way from the high E at the beginning of this little passage to a low D. So I'm going to play the E and say, what do I want to sound like on that E? That feels pretty good. And then what do I want to sound like on the low D? I'm not sure I like any one of those Ds that I played, but it's okay. Now I'm going to go a little bit faster and make sure that that's the sound I hear when I reach that D. And then I'm going to climb back out. So Did it sound the same as the D I played before? I think it was pretty close. I think the E was pretty close to the one I'm looking for too. Now, that was pretty easy for me to do, but I've been working on that. And so my embouchure already knows how to change. There are some discussions out there that, when you're going really fast, you can't change your embouchure. It should just stay the same. I don't really agree with that. I think your embouchure can move really fast. It's very flexible. And if you're going from a high E to a low D, I think your embouchure can adjust to those changes in the middle of a fast passage. Because let's face it, that's the only way your low D is going to come out. If you're keeping that high E embouchure, it's not going to work for you. Now, I think in the end, I might want to choose a middle register embouchure to get that high E to come out. And then it's not as much of a change going up or going down. I still have to change, but I'm not going to make it this huge movement in a tiny little fast passage. All I want is to sound good as I play it. And so my ultimate goal, my ear is going to drive that ultimate goal. What am I listening for? And make my embouchure do that so that I can hear it every time and the audience can hear it too. So work on changing your embouchure and flexibility within your solo. And if you're having a hard time with it, go back to the way you would practice a tonal study and make even a fast passage be a tonal study. Going really slow, holding in your air, making your lip do all the work, because your lip just needs to learn how to move. It's training those muscles, and they can be trained to do what you want them to do. That's today's flute tip. If you like today's flute tip, press the like button, subscribe, comment below, and share it with your friends.